Here we are. Let's see, am I aligned? There we are. I'm aligned and we are ready. Hello everyone, so sorry for the delay there. We are apparently good to go. Lucy, can we get a technical check here? I set everything back up in this room, and I never know if I've missed something. Salvete! Salvete omnes. Alrighty. Okay. So, what are we going to do today? Well, today what we're going to do, we're going to hydrate, we're going to stretch, we're going to drink some tea, and we are going to do the second, boy time flies, the second Historical Linguistics Challenge. Let me see if I can do something about this alignment. I'm going to just mute the mic because I'm about to move it. Okay. Yeah, I got to make sure the mic is positioned right so that you can all hear the dulcet tones of my voice. Okay, so today, second Historical Linguistics Challenge. Team B from Discord is going to go, and I've been promised horrible, horrible things. So, I don't know. Are we ready? Do we have a file to give to me, Lucy? We've got the file. Okay, I'm loading it up. We're about to go in. I'll do the little YouTube intro. Where is... No, that's the wrong browser. This is the one that we want. Historical Linguistics Challenge B. I'm going to get some windows sorted out in the right spots. How's everyone doing today, by the way? I am once again in Peru, and it seems to be a quieter day today with fewer banging of pots and pans, which is good, although I won't rule out the fact that the ice cream, vendor might come by. Okay, we have the dock, we have the windows aligned. We're about to get started. Okay. Let's do the YouTube intro and we'll go. Hello, YouTube. I'm back in Peru. I don't know if you can tell, it's super sunny. I'm wearing short sleeves in April, and so it must mean I'm somewhere not in Southern Ontario. And indeed I am not. I am in Lima, Peru, and we are going to be working on the second Historical Linguistics Challenge today. We're going to see what Team B has come up with. And so if you haven't seen one of these before, basically the premise is we get a selection of cognate sets that are all made up by our wonderful community. And our job together is to reconstruct the proto-language that gave rise to all of these cognates. And so this is going to be a lot of fun. If you saw the earlier episode, or the earlier, I think we did 8 episodes of them. Yeah, I got demolished, frankly. And so I've been warned that this one's going to be harder, so why don't we just see what's happening. Hello, everyone. Let's get going into the... Now let's just see, is this going to work properly? If I go into the side webcam, yes, okay. And it says I'm currently signed in as me. That's good to know. I'm glad it's me and not someone else. Okay. Okay, we need to zoom in a bit. Team A1, yeah, it's Discord 1, Colin 0. All right, let's take a look at this. So what do we have? Okay, so we have 5 languages. And we have how many sets of cognates? Or are they cognates necessarily? Oh my goodness. Yeah, it looks like we have 5 sets of cognates with semantic shifts. Team B is in the chat. Team B, I'm glad. I don't know what it is. It's wonderful, and I'm glad to see you here. So you can sort of, do this kind of motion and cackle or what have you as you see us go through this. So we have how many cognate sets here? We have from line 4 to line 53. So we've got a good set of cognate sets. And our task is going to be to reconstruct the proto-language. So why don't we get started using our technique from last time. We are going to, what I'm going to do I have the authority to do this? I think so. I'm going to assign a number to each of these words. I'm going to use the magic of spreadsheets to zoom down so we can refer back to things. So we have 50 cognate sets. I'm going to arrange things nicely here. And I'm going to hide this row so we have a little bit more screen real estate. I'm going to take a swig of tea. Time will tell if it's as hot as it was last week. The tea will prove to have been a poor choice. All right. So let's see if we can squeeze a little bit more room out of this. Yes, we can. Good. So that everyone can see as much as possible. And we need to start collecting some correspondences. So I am going to task you, chat, with pointing out anything you find interesting. Any leads you want to follow up on. I will start going, but I will periodically look over at the chat and yeah, we'll see what we can do. Okay. Okay, what is something that looks relatively simple? A nice way to start is initial consonants, because we only have to worry about the environment on one side rather than two. So why don't we take a look at some initial consonant that is maintained across the board. So this is interesting because it looks like we have some morphology going on in number 1, so we won't use that to start with. Let's see. G, j, no, okay, that's going to be a bit more complicated. Oh, I see something that looks promising. This cognate set in 17. Oops, don't do that. Nope, Control Z. This noun that means one in a collective, it means pile, it means small thing, and it means grain. And so we have this, so let's make some word, environment, and so the languages, I think these are the names of the languages. Let's call them, so we're not pronouncing them every time. Let's call them A, B, C, D, E. But really they are loading, Niemarop, Ludinguk, Kom to Push, and Tinglucho. Hope I did justice to all of their names there. All right, so let's get this sorted out. You cannot see very much on this other spreadsheet, so I'm gonna pull this across. I'll wait. We're always dealing with the lack of real estate here. Lots of these can be small. Okay. So let's see. I see a suggestion for nasalization. We'll look at that second. So we have in word 14, initially, before vowel. I'm just going to, as a way of making this a bit easier, collapse vowels and consonants for now. We'll have occasion to separate them out, but we don't have very much to go on yet, so this is a good way to start the general environment. And we have we have L and nothing. L. Oops, and you know what? I remembered. I have an IPA keyboard now, thanks to you. thanks to the community, the chat. It's not just the chat, it's the Discord. It's everyone who's been suggesting different ways of typing IPA more easily. And I just want to thank you for that, because now we have the ability to do things like, I don't know. I'm not going to try and do it live because I'll probably make a mistake. But it's something like where, and the problem also is that I'm on a Latin American keyboard, so some things are in different spots. Let's see. Let's see what we've got here. So we can do things like this, or this. Can you see what's going on here? It's wonderful. Or this, or this. Whoa. Okay. So IPA keyboard engaged. I'm going to put that off to the side so I can see which symbols do what. Okay. So here we have initial L. And let's see if we have anything else like that just before we move on. We have 14. We also have 13, which looks kind of similar. Here we have a similar environment. Oh dear. Now I don't know how to... I think it's... There we go. Okay. I'm struggling. I see tone markings. I just want to put in an underscore and then a V. Good, excellent. L, and then we have nothing. We'll put a 0 for that to make our lives easier. And okay, so that's good. Let's see what else. So we have, let's stick with the initial. So let's keep the nasalization. Let's put an idea down here. Yeah. Yeah, okay, we'll tackle the nasalization soon. What else? We have some initial nasals in 21, 22, and 23. Let's do that. So, we're gonna make our... Okay. How do I make it accept this? V? Well, some things become easier and some things become harder. Isn't that just life? And we have, let's see, how can I type this? This is like a fun, let's type IPA with Colin. Where is the, I don't know where that is. Okay, so this may not immediately be more convenient, but I am confident that the benefits will eventually show themselves. So, I don't know where the velar nasal is on this keyboard layout. So I'm going to do what I always do, which is copy and paste. Yay! So there we go. Copying and pasting. Technology's our friend. So we have the velar nasal here. In 21, it looks like we have some interesting things going on in 21. Because our language B has something that looks morphologically more complex, or as Sutton just pointed out, we could be dealing with a wholesale loss of final, not final syllables necessarily. Well, some kind of unstressed syllable loss. So let's assume that, oh, actually I know how to do this one in the, this is, there we go. Are you proud of me? Okay, so, and then I'm just going to go ahead and copy this over. For D, we have something very strange going on, so I'm not totally sure what that is yet. And for E, we have the uvular nasal. And I'm going to copy paste that because I don't know where it is in the layout. Progress. It's it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Yeah, Sawton, it seems like we are losing syllables left and right, no pun intended, in branch A, in Lodin. Let's see what else we can do. We have velar nasal in 22 and 23, and it's in similar environments in both, so I almost feel like one of those 70s keyboard players, because I've got so many different keyboards and things going on here, like Rick Wakeman. I don't know if anyone knows who Rick Wakeman is, but I feel like Rick Wakeman here. I've got all my keyboards, I'm doing IPA over here, and I should be wearing a cape. Real 70s kids know what I'm talking about. All right, so we've got the velar nasal here and here. We've got nothing. We've got a loss. There's no reflex of this protoform in language B, but in language for form 23 we have the palatal nasal, and then we have uvular nasals here. We have loss and the velar nasal here, and we have no surviving form and the velar nasal here. Yeah, so what's weird is in branch D, as Connor points out, we have the loss of the velar nasal, except in 23. But what's the difference between 21 and 22 on the one hand and 23 on the other hand? And the thing that pops out to me is that we have back vowels in 21 and 22, and we have a front vowel in 23. I wonder if this will end up being an interesting avenue to explore. Yeah, you gotta stretch, you gotta hydrate. Rising Rose with the killer advice that'll make a winner out of all of us. Hydrate and stretch. Okay, what's next? So I'm gonna write down, oh, you can't see that. Let's see if I can win us a bit more screen space for some notes. Good. So loss before back. I think that's all the space we're going to get. There we go. Loss before back vowels. Treat them as a loan into, okay, yeah. If there are loan words, we are truly doomed. I don't know what that means. Okay, I've got to use the Mac keyboard for this. All right, let's do some more. So what else do we have? We have another velar nasal in 26. Maybe we can make progress on that. So it's in the same kind of environment, broadly speaking. It is velar nasal across the board, which is interesting and something we haven't seen before. Oh, apologies. The aspect ratio of this monitor doesn't quite match up to what you see. So 26, we have velar nasals across the board. And let's see if we can collect any more of these. Any kind of velar nasal, no, okay. So last time we started kind of with the obstruents. Let's start with the sonorants this time. Let's see if we can work out the initial sonorants. So that means we're looking for things, we're looking for nasals, we're looking for liquids. And I see we have Ah, Moon Truther points out something very interesting here. We have the name of the language itself in row 23. Niemarop. Niemarop, correct speech. Interesting. Oh, can I just pause to point out how cool these cognate sets are with their semantic divergences? We have something that has good, correct speech, moral, true, and repair. That's very cool. Okay, so let's take a look at the labial nasal. So in 18, we have I don't know what it wants me to do in order to get the pound sign. We have M. We have actually M across the board, so that's exciting. Hand, glove, touch, use, arm, hand. Then we have the same thing going on in 19. So I feel like we're getting a foothold here. I'm just going to copy and paste this down. M, 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 M. And then in 20 we have the coronal nasal. And I'm going to, again, copy this down. So we have 20 nank, or nank, in 20. So N, nanko, wild animal, nacha, pet, na, meat, and nancha, bear. Ooh, that's cool. Okay. Are those all of our initial nasals? Let's go up and let's do a little look. We got 26. I would love to try and figure out the original meanings. I don't know just how long this will take. It may end up being depends on how much patience you, my dear viewers, have for it, but I'm game. I think that's something we have a reasonable chance of doing. Okay, so I think we've got all of the initial nasals. What else do we have? We have... Yeah, we could do the tap. So what's... that's in 34. So let's see if the IPA keyboard will help us with this. No. Maybe this one. No. Maybe if I shift this one. No, I don't know. I'm hopeless. I'm just gonna copy it over. Sorry, everyone. I'll practice with this. I thought it was gonna be a lot easier. Okay, so we have a tap here. We have loss here. We have no surviving reflex in C. We have a tap here. Excuse me. The tap here, and then we have. Looks like we have loss in E. So this is 34. I'm going to be streaming for 2 hours today, so we've got 90 minutes left. I should probably cut in, or just over 90 minutes because I was 5 minutes late to start, and I don't want to cut things too much. I want to make sure we get 4 kind of solid chunks out of this, and then. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I misnumbered that. 35. So in 34 we have a somewhat similar situation. And I'll have to put in a cut for YouTube in about 5 minutes, but I want to make sure we have accomplished something before we do that. So here we get we see what happens to this tap in C when the word is not lost. Okay. Good. Are there any sonants that we've missed? I'm only looking in column A to begin with. I'm going to have to go look in the other columns to see if there are any sonants that survived only there. Let's see. Let's do that now, actually. So we have got lots of interesting stuff here, but nothing new for our sonant party. Actually, this is, column A is toxic. So we've got our approximate here. Loss and W. Hey, Mishwa, how goes? Welcome. You can witness the utter destruction of me by a proto-language, or by the failure to to reconstruct a proto-language. And also, you can witness my destruction by this IPA keyboard layout. Okay, and so then we have 47. And do we get anything different here? Loss. Okay, no, it's the same. So then let's look over at column C. Okay, so here we have any new sonants, Doesn't look like it. All right. Column D, this bears the unmistakable influence of Quain, because I see tones. Quain's going to have a hard time shaking that association. Nothing. Oh no, is that a rhoticized E? A high tone rhoticized E? Oh no. Okay. So looking at the size of this problem, I think we're going to do this in 2 parts, at least, on 2 days. One, me going in today and giving it the old college try, as the saying goes. And then I will go off and do a little bit of work on my own and come back, and we'll try and do a final attempt at it. I think that's probably the best format for this. Oh dear. Okay. I think we've got all of the initial sonants. Okay. So let's reconstruct some things. I think we're in a position to do that already for this subset. How much space do I have? Not a lot. Let's see if I can. So I think for the, let's just say, we'll call this the proto. I think we're dealing with, I'm comfortable reconstructing L here in 14 and 13. The nasals are a bit harder. Let's skip them for now. I'm comfortable pausing M. I just saw a question. Sawton, can the color of the letters in the definition be a different color than the phonetic forms? Sure. Yeah, let's do that. what would be something that would show up well? You know what, maybe what I'll do, I'll put in a cut here, and let's just finish this. I'll put in a cut, and then while I'm off screen, I will monkey with that, and then, yeah. Okay, so then n in 20, I think that's fairly uncontroversial. I think we're more likely to lose the tap than to gain it. So I would reconstruct initial taps here and here. And our labiodental proximant, not a sound that I use very often or come across very often myself. We will reconstruct here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the what the likelihood of either change. So labiodental to labiovelar, or vice versa. I'm not sure which is more likely, so I'm just going to go with majority rules for now. And yeah, okay. And then we have to decide what to do with these nasals here, but I'm going to put in a cut before we do that so that our YouTube audience has a chance to, well, get on with their lives. And these are a bit more bite-sized. So let's go back to the full screen, friends. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to continue this in the next video, so stay tuned until then. And otherwise, heed the advice. Hydrate and stretch. Okay, then I'll do like a... All right, now I'm going to, while we're not... While we're not on, I'm going to take the advice, actually, well, it's not really advice. It's an idea, but I like it. We can hide the meanings for now. So I'm going to do that so that we have more space to deal with the forms. So hide meanings, even though they're lovely. And then we can, yeah, like this. Okay. Then we have much more space to deal with. We have much more space to deal with our hypotheses. In fact, we can also put up a third window. Now we're getting intense. We're going to put up a third window so that we can start to write some rules. Okay, zoom to 125. We are ready. Let's see how this looks. I'm just gonna briefly move. Oop. Nope. How did that happen? I have no idea. Technical difficulties, always fun. I'm trying to slide around windows and things are getting away from me. Okay, so here's what it's going to look like when we get back. I think that's good. Yeah, I don't know. I've got, like, the screens are too small. What can I say? Other than that, I think let's make a new sheet here, and there we go. Okay, I'm going to just get us back into the game, and we're going to talk to YouTube, and then we're going to get started. Okay. YouTube, how are you? Now, we have been working on something very interesting, which is the second Historical Linguistics Challenge, also known as the Magnificent Destruction of Me. And I think if you haven't seen the first bit, go watch the first bit. We'll have a link for you there in the description. And otherwise, I think we should just jump in because time is of the essence. So let's scoot back to the side webcam and let's get working. So our setup right now, we have our cognates on the left, we have our correspondences in the middle, and on the right we will have our rules. So we need to put together some columns for A, B, C, D, and E. And you're not able to see all of them at the moment. We will rectify this somehow. And let's just put in a placeholder here so that I can properly size these columns. You see, this is how you know it's all done live, because if we had planned this out in advance, it would be a lot smoother. So this is like a certificate of authenticity for you. All right, so then let's, I don't understand. Why don't these things move? Okay, so apparently we can't make it smaller than that, so this is what we're going to be stuck with. Right. Okay. So if our current reconstructions are sound, we have in C, I'm just going to delete these placeholders. In C, we have something like L to 0 at the start of the word, maybe in more places, who knows? Ooh, did you see that? It made the nice arrow. Okay, this IPA keyboard layout does have its advantages. Then in, oh, sorry, that should go in C, in B, right? Yeah, that should go in B. Okay. Then what else do we have? We have, we lose the tap in B as well, initially. Why didn't it do it that time? Ah, okay, it's equals and then the, okay, cool. And then this is deleted. Okay, that's how you do it. So this rule goes in B. This rule goes in E as well. Sorry, E is a bit small. For some reason, I am unable to shrink this window any more. There we go. Yeah, so B looks to have, yeah, Sutton points out, have lost word initial liquids, at least word initial. We haven't looked at anything else yet. What else do we have? So if we're going to have this as the protoform, then we will also change it to W in E. Okay. Okay, so I think this is what we have so far. Let's tackle these nasals. So that is the question. We have a variety of reflexes of these nasals, 21, 22, 23, and 26. What are we going to do with these, team? What are we going to do? So we lose okay, all three of these in A are before different vowels. We have E, I, O, and O. If we look in another language, Sutton pointed out that C and E look to be relatively conservative with respect to word shape, so maybe that's the best place for us to start. Is we have E, I, E, O. Yeah, you get to cackle. You can cackle all along. I mean, it's not being recorded, sadly, but you know, cackle in the chat. I don't know how you write that. Mwahaha. Is that a mwahaha situation? I think so. Let's see. So let's take a look at B. Where do we find the palatal nasal? We find it before front vowels. I think it's a lot more likely for velars to front before front vowels than it is for palatals to back before back vowels. So I think this is what I would probably do is posit in B something like an ancestral velar nasal going to a palatal nasal before. Well, first of all, let's just say at the start of words for now. We don't know if that's true, but let's be maximally specific at the moment. And then before front vowels. Okay. And then actually what's interesting is we seem to see this as well with g. G seems to front as well. So that's good evidence in favor of this analysis. Well, it strengthens my suspicion. I don't know if it's good evidence. But it seems that we have a general fronting of velars in front of front vowels. So that's good to know. And so that accounts for these two. Then let's take a look at what happens in E. So in E, we have something interesting going on. We have a uvular nasal showing up. And in a place that you don't expect a uvular nasal to be if it's conditioned. So we may be looking at an ancestral form here that is changed in all other branches. Okay, yep, Sawton, great minds think alike. I think we're on the same page here. And so if we take the velar nasal as ancestral, then we can do something like, maybe there are two back nasals in the proto-language. There's the velar nasal, and then there's the the velar nasal here and the uvular nasal. Sorry, if I said velar nasal when referring to this symbol, I meant uvular nasal. My brain's bandwidth is showing its limits. So we have the original uvular nasal, which fronts in general in all of these languages, and then further fronts before front vowels in B. And then we have essentially two back nasals in the proto-language, which are distinguished in E. Yeah, I think that's probably what we have. Otherwise, I don't know how to derive this distinction between the uvular nasal in 21 and the velar nasal in 23. So then let's put that in. And then maybe this is actually what's going to give us our distinction in D. Maybe it's the uvular nasal that drops out in D and the velar nasal stays. Which would give us evidence that this too is the velar nasal. So the uvular nasal, and these are the velar nasal in the proto-language. And then we just need to come up with some rules. I think that works. So then we can get rid of this. Yeah, that's also going to be pointing us towards looking for more uvular-velar contrasts in the proto-language. But I've got to keep my eye on the prize here. So keep these things in your mind, chat. Okay, so uvular nasal to velar nasal, and this rule is crucially ordered because we get them fronting further before front vowels. So this rule here has to be before this rule here. And actually we get this in this same rule in all of the languages except in D, where we get the loss. And I'm going to put word initial environments on all of these for now. I somehow doubt that they're all going to be just word initial, but that's what we have the evidence for at the start, or for the time being rather. And so that's what I will do to sort of keep ourselves kind of organized here. Sorry you have to leave us, Deep Solar. Have a good day at work, and we'll keep plugging on. We'll keep the what's the phrase? We'll hold down the fort. All right. And then I think that accounts for all of everything that we have here. So that's good. Control-C, Control-V. And it's interesting, these three, A, B, and C, share this innovation. So we may want to consider A, B, and C to form a subgrouping of their own, marked by this shared innovation. But I'm pretty proud of that. That's so far so good. Okay. So then we have two things that we can do. We can look and try and reconstruct the rest of the initials, or we can look and try and reconstruct the rest of the sonorant system in other positions. I think what we will do is stick with the initials for now. There are pros and cons to each, but I think we'll stick with the initials for now. Excuse me. We'll leave nasalization. We know it's going to have to be dealt with, but let's keep going with the initials. And let's look at, let's start to look at the, what are we going to do? Let's start to look at our obstruents. And so we have a lot more of them. So let's carve up our task a little bit more, and let's look at the labial obstruents. So we have something like word 1, where we have this is painful. I'm just going to copy and paste it. This is, okay, the main downfall of this IPA input method is that I can't make the octothorpe, if you want the best word for it. I positively went Mr. Burns when I said that, the octothorpe. I'm so passionate about that word. Okay, so let's take a look. What are our cognates here? This is a bit tough because we have a B, a word initial B here, but we have disyllabic forms in B, C, and E. And we have this monosyllabic form in A. And one wonders, this wouldn't be such a problem, except they both start with labials. And so there's some question as to which labial this B continues. The B in language A, if you can keep all of that straight. But we know at least we have something like V, sorry, getting that wrong, V, loss, and P. I'm gonna just, so I don't get distracted. And then maybe B here. If this B carries on the first syllable, but if it carries on the second syllable, that's not it. All right, let's keep going. Let's find all of our friends that let's show this pattern. All of our labial obstruents. Hello, labials. Where are 17? Okay. So here we have Rick Wakeman mode engaged. B, 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 and then let's see if I can do this. P, and then no, that's not right. Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste that because I cannot find where it is on the IPA keyboard. If I had a third monitor, I'd put up the documentation for the IPA keyboard on it. Maybe actually I can do that. Okay, I'll sort that out after the next break. Okay, so more labial obstruents. We have 27. And here we have P, aspirated P, F, loss, and the bilabial fricative. Voiceless bilabial fricative. Right. This is kind of interesting. These two, the patterns of 1 and 27. Okay. 27's off your screen. Apologies again. Thanks for keeping me honest. Let's continue. 27. We also have 28. You can see down to 33. Okay, so 28. We have bilabial fricative. We have loss. We have the bilabial fricative. And then we have W. 29. So did I do? No, I was doing 29. My apologies. 28. We have first loss, then aspirated P, then F, then P, then. So this looks to be continuing. 27 and 28 look to be continuing the same sound in the proto-language. We just have incomplete sets for both of them. Luckily, between the two of them, we have a complete set. And then let's look at 30. So on 30, we have loss. I'm sorry, we have no reflex. It looks like it's the same as 29. Great. Let's go on and see what else we can find. Don't see any more. No, okay, looks like that's everything. So let's move on and take a look at the other places of articulation. So with the different places of articulation, you have to sort of keep your eye out for different things. Different things are likely to happen to coronals than they are to labials and dorsals. And so with coronals and labials, we're always going to be alert for the possibility of palatalization, the effect of high or front vowels on the consonants. Getting a request from Sutton to look at 50. So here we are. Take this opportunity to have a swig of tea. All right. Now it's getting warm. So there you are, Sutton. That's That's our number 50. Yeah, do you want to look at velars first? We can look at velars first. So let's start with 50, go in reverse. It looks like we don't have initial constant clusters, so this environment is kind of perhaps gratuitous, but let's do, okay, so we have 50xx, no reflex, loss h. And in 49, we have x sh x x h. This difference could be a difference in the consonant, or it could be a difference in the vowel. Not sure. I mean, that, yeah, Sod and I agree that the identity of this consonant looks like it has a lot to do with this E, because we see the same thing in 48. And that's a very natural palatalization process. And so 49 and 48 functionally have the same correspondence set. Let's continue on with the velars. Now, Sutton points out, just before we go, Sutton points out that D doesn't keep X all the time. So the velar fricative, voiceless velar fricative, is not kept by D all the time. So in 50 it's lost. Does that sound familiar to you? Something is not kept by D all the time. Because it does sound familiar to me. And we are looking for evidence of this uvular-velar split. We see that D likes to drop, if our hypothesis so far is correct, likes to drop the uvular and keep the velar. So maybe that's what's going on here. In fact, I'm fairly confident that that's what is going on there. But let's just look at it a little bit more before we rush into it, because we may find other sources of evidence one way or another in our initials. So let's continue to work. Let's see, do we have any more velars or dorsals, I guess, because we don't know if they're velars. Oh, no, sorry, I missed this one. Right, so we have the voiced velar fricative in 36. Voiced velar fricative, we have our sh. We have our voiced velar fricative again. Then we have this weird rhoticized, it's not weird, it's great, but this rhoticized E in D, which might just be the influence of that following tap. Not totally sure. I'll call it a loss for now. And then we have H in E. Oops, H and E. What else? What's next? 33. We have K. We have aspirated K. So this is the same kind of pattern we saw in 28. K, aspirated K. Sorry about the noise outside, everyone. We have K. Where was I? Oh yeah, 33. K, aspirated K. K, loss. And the uvular shows up again. Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. So I think we may be dealing with the same pattern here, where D loses a uvular and E has it. And so 32, oh yeah, we're looking at 32 now. Loss and uvular fricative. Let's see what else we can do. So we have in 24 and 25, we have something going on. So we'll just go backwards. So 25, G, J, G, J, K, G, and k. I know we had such high hopes for the IPA keyboard, but I will get better at it, and copying and pasting will one day be a thing of the past. And then we have basically the same correspondences in 24. So let's... Sheet 2 is off the screen now, is it? I see it here. Oh yeah, sorry. At the bottom. Ship, always keeping me honest. I appreciate it. I've got to put a little marker on the screen to see where it cuts off. See if I can actually... Well, I'll do it during the break. Oh, speaking of which, it's time for a break. So why don't we... Let's ponder. Look at what we've accomplished. We have uncovered a little pattern, I think, pointing to this series of uvulars and velars that were in the proto-language, in which we... sorry, I lost my train of thought, because something occurred to me. We see evidence for a series of uvulars and velars in the proto-language, which are merged in A, B, and C, and in favor of velars, and the uvular member of which is lost in D. And so I think that's something that we can work on, but I'm going to put in a cut here. So YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to see you again soon, or rather, you're going to see me again soon, I think is probably the better way of saying it. But yeah, we're going to keep going. We're going to solve this, or be utterly destroyed while trying. Okay, we'll see you next time. Okay, I was going to do a few things off screen, so I just should do that now. First of all, let me go back on the side webcam to show where... There we go. There we go. So this is the true end of my ability to show you things. So now I won't scroll past it. And let's see, the other thing I was going to do is get up the IPA keyboard documentation. And that ended up going somewhere in my... here we are. Okay. But while I'm doing this, I want to congratulate Team B, because this is a nice challenge. I don't know if it's... here we go. Let me try this. So if I do... Okay, yep, I found the documentation. So we're going to put that off to the side. And we're all going to be happy. Let's see if we can see it on the... So you can just see it off to the side. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to welcome YouTube back in. And yeah. Ooh, I feel like, Rodney Dangerfield. I don't know. These references, are they lost? Are they coming through? Do you know Rodney Dangerfield? Tell me you know Rodney Dangerfield. Okay, I'll do the little intro bit, and then we'll get back to work. Okay, so hydrating and stretching. Stretching and hydrating. Oh, hi, YouTube. Didn't hear you come in. We've just been working on this amazing historical linguistics challenge, and so far it's going great. So far, I think we got a good chance. So why don't you come and check it out? Because we are about to have a great success. I have every expectation. So let's scoot into the side webcam. Whoop, there we go. And let's continue. So where we last left off was we have this interesting pattern where we see in language D, we have the loss of certain. So we have these correspondences like, where are they? So like 33 and 32, we have a velar, a velar. So we have velars everywhere, but in E we have uvulars, and in D we have nothing. And we see this in nasals, we see this in stops, we see this in fricatives as well. And it looks like what we have is an original uvular-velar contrast to the proto-language. That contrast is only maintained in E. The uvulars are lost in D, and the two are merged in A, B, and C. So this is, I think, what's going on. And let's continue, and let's collect all of our initial velar obstruent correspondence and correspondences rather, and let's start reconstructing. All right, so we got up to 24. We've been working backwards up from the bottom. Are there any other velars that we have to deal with? We've already done the nasals, so we can move on from that. Okay, number 12. Again, I'm stymied by the keyboard, but that's fine. There's no, Sutton, there are no uvular stops in E. That's something slightly interesting. That's something slightly interesting indeed. Okay, let's collect our remaining correspondences, because we need to be thorough. Look, I just typed it. I just typed on the IP keyboard because I have the documentation up here. I hope you're all very proud of me. So, K, oops, no, we're one over, so K, aspirated K, aspirated K, oh my goodness. It's as painful for me as it is for you, I guarantee you. And then here we have much the same. Beep. So that's 11. In 10 we have, no, 10's not relevant. We have to go up to 8 and 9. So 9 gives us G, no reflex. And where, I'm gonna do this with the IP keyboard. It's gonna be great. So it's, where is it? Voiced velar fricative. Yeah. Okay. And then we have GK. 8. We have, I think, the same thing, except we have one complication, which is that our no, I don't know. I don't see that in our little chart, so I'm just going to copy it. Okay. And I think that's all of our correspondence sets. Okay. So what's going on here? We have our labials and our velar obstruents. What's going on here? I think what we have this distinction between the uvular and the velar in 33. What I suspect is that this is, in fact, let me just go back. This is all word initial. I think that 33 and 32 are continuing a uvular stop, which then fricates in, or spirantizes in E. This is my guess. And then we have the other member of this pair, which is the velar, showing up in 11 and 12. And both of them spirantize in E. So it looks like we have some kind of a chain shift going in E. I think, did someone? Yeah, Sawton mentioned that. So these would be my reconstructions here. And then we need to come to terms with what else is going on here. So we may have the same thing going on in the fricatives. So so maybe what we have, oh no, I should be using my new keyboard for this. It's a good strategy. Maybe what we have is a uvular fricative here and velar fricatives here, both of which get neutralized into H in E. The velar gets lost, the uvular gets lost in D as usual, and then both of them, they both neutralize in favor of the velar in A, B, and C. I think that might be an answer. I don't know, chat, what do you think? So if this is true, then what we have is actually, let's just say all uvulars get deleted in D. Let's see if I can, I don't know. We could just say all uvulars go to velars. I'm not giving the proper feature notation here because precision is not as important as speed today. Unfortunately, we can't see all of these rules. There we go. There we go. Okay, so super. And then in E, what else do we need? It's actually all velars that become palatals before back vowels. Before minus back vowels, before front vowels. And some unholy mixture of informal and formal notation here. And let's see what else we have. I think what we have is the uvular fricative and the velar fricative both becoming H in E. Okay. I'm seeing some really great suggestions coming in here, which I will address as time goes on. I think, yeah, B does palatalize coronals as well, I think. Yeah, if we look in 4, that also happens. But I'm trying to be sort of systematic about this, and, you know, if we go step by step, we're ideally less likely to make mistakes and more likely to be able to account for all of our data. So let's keep that in our minds. There's also a question about aspiration. There may be some aspiration that we have to contend with as well. Of the branches that maintain aspiration, we have B and E, or I should say maintain. All of the languages that possess aspiration we are B and E. Those are the only ones, is what I'm trying to say. And interestingly, they don't agree on where it shows up. And so that's something of interest. There's a suggestion, Sawton has a suggestion that B might be preserving ancestral aspiration. Perhaps that's the case. If that's true, then maybe what's going on is no, I don't think that does make sense. Well, okay, let's say that aspiration is ancestral in B, or rather the aspiration that we find in B is ancestral. That means that it existed in something like 27, where we have an E a fricative, in 28, where we have an E a fricative, in 12, and in 11, where we have fricatives in E. Is it the case that every time we have a fricative in E, we have an aspirate in B? It's another good question. So let's do a quick look. So we're looking for fricatives in B and we're looking for aspirates in B and fricatives in E and see if they're one-to-one match. So we have it here. In 6, we have the match. In 11 and 12, we have the match. We're excluding lateral fricatives from this consideration and sibilants. Yeah, it does look to be the case. And so maybe in that case, it makes more sense. It makes more sense that we have something like aspirated velar, or sorry, aspirated uvular stop, aspirated velar stop, and then the fricatives are the ones that go into H. Maybe that's what it is. And then if that's the case, then we would have to have an aspirated labial. Where's the P? There we go. Aspirated labial stop in 27 and in 29. Okay, that's really cool. I really like this IPA keyboard. Just saying. Okay. So if that's the case, then we would expect there to be another member of the stop series. And that might be what we're dealing with in like 8 and 9. Moontruther, sorry to see you head out, but wish us luck, and oh, you just did. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. We'll keep going. I've got lots of hope. I've got lots of optimism today. Let's see. Yeah, so what? Oh, I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear it? The ice cream? The ice cream elephant? Something like that. I don't know why I just sort of... There it was again. I put my hand here like I had an earbud in. Clearly not the case. Okay. There we go. ABD have voice stops and E have aspirated stops. Okay, so let's look at this correspondence. We have aspirated stops for E in exactly the spots where we have... Let's just look word initially for for the moment. I think he's getting closer, actually. So we have this... the aspirate in E, where we have a voice stop in B. Actually, in A to D. We have an aspirate in... Okay, here's not an initial, but it also confirms the situation. Aspirate in E, voiced in B. It's right outside. Let's just appreciate him for a second, because I don't think we have any other choice. Let's look at more of these aspirates while we're working. So this one's a bit more complicated, but we do see the voicing in B and D, but not in C. Can you imagine an elephant going around your neighborhood giving out ice cream? Well, selling ice cream, and elephants got to make a living too. You know, that would be awesome. I've always thought it'd be really cool if you're just walking down the street and then an animal is walking down the street and you just say hello, and then the animal, well, it doesn't say hello necessarily, but it just sort of nods to you and it sort of moves on. It's going about its business, you're going about your business, and it's just a nice interaction. You know, you greet each other in the street. It's just a shame we can't have that world where animals are just sort of about their own concerns, you know. Okay, I think I've stalled enough. He is on another street, so we can continue. So I like this equation of aspirates in E with voice stops in B. I think that's something that we can pursue. And then the question is, which are we starting with? Well, we can't start with aspirates in the proto-language because we've already posited them for a different set of correspondences. So I think we may have to have a three-way distinction in the proto-language. Yeah. Something like one. So we have a series. We have one member to correspond to the aspirates in B and the fricatives in E. We have one member to correspond to the voiced stops in B, stops and fricatives, and the aspirates in E. Then we have a third member to correspond to the voice stops in, well, we don't have any really in B, but in the others, and voiceless in E. So what I think is maybe something like, yeah, is it a voiced aspirate? Would Team B pull a Proto-Indo-European on us? That's possible. That's possible. That is one way that we can get an aspirate and a voiced. All right, why not? Let's do it. I don't know how to write that in this keyboard. Where's the voiced aspirate? I'm going to just lean in here. I don't know if anyone... Does anyone have a... I'll just have to use the normal aspiration diacritic for it, like a Proto-Indo-Europeanist would, unfortunately, but we could do this. So tenuous B, tenuous E. Aspirate B, fricative E. Voiced B, aspirate E. Yep, those are our correspondences between B and D. B and D are very helpful indeed. So we have something like this. And I think we need to now make our sound changes so that we are staying up to date with everything. So let's... What else? What do we need to account for here? We need to account for... Oh, let's finish up with our reconstructions for the labials, especially. So we have this situation where we have a bunch of fricatives and then a W. this reminds me of the situation in 48 and 49, where we have a bunch of fricatives and then the glottal fricative. So maybe we have something like this, where we have a bilabial fricative in the proto-language. And Quain's back. You can see what see how far we've gone astray, Quain. And then we have our voiced aspirate in 17, and then we have our K, oops, sorry, that's just going to be P. And so I think that's what we have here. And then the only thing left to worry about is 36, which looks like it's going to be, I don't know, why is this voiced in A and in C? Let's see. What is this? 36? Yeah, do we have any choice but to reconstruct this as voiced? A voicing that gets neutralized in B and E. I'm not sure we do. I'm not sure we do. Open to other suggestions, but for now, I'm thinking that we will reconstruct this as proto-voiced velar fricative. The fact that we don't have any other voiced fricatives, though, dubious. Well, it gives me pause, I'll say that. That's some satisfying tea. Okay. Let's use these reconstructions and write some rules. So we need to account for... I wish I could make that window a bit smaller. We need to account for the... Okay, let's not start with 1. Let's start down here. So we need to account for the reflexes of proto-K. And so we get voicing in A, C, and D. And let's look at proto... So A, C, and D. Then we get proto-P. We also get voicing, it looks like here. Well, we'll keep the question mark. And in C, although we also get this spirantization in C. So I'm not totally sure what to do with that. Vebu. Although maybe it's the same thing that we do with the velar fricative in C. So actually, that's fine. So we get voicing in A, B, and D. So let's just say that that our tenuous become voiced, and because the feature of that is easy, I'll just write it out. So that's what we've got, and it looks like we share this with A, C, and D, and then so our voice stops. I don't know how we're going to write this in a way that will fit into this little cell. I don't know. Hopefully that we can remember that means voice stops become fricatives plus continuant. Okay, so that accounts for our outcomes in for 8 and 9 totally. That's totally done. Then we can do 11 and 12. And what can we do with 11 and 12? We can say that our aspirates go to fricatives. This is painful. Aspirates go to fricatives, and actually it's not just the voice stops that go to fricatives in C, is it? So maybe what happens is that we have a chain shift here. So the tenuous become voiced, the aspirates become tenuous, and then all stops become fricatives. I think that would do it. And so let's see if we can so I'm going to write this as a proper rule. So we're aspirating all of our stops, and then what we're doing is we are voicing, strike that and reverse it. We're deaspirating all of our stops, so we have to actually have this after. So this is our little chain shift. So this is very hard to read. I'm just going to use an example. So I'm going to say PTK to BDG. You know what I mean? It's this series. And then I'm going to say this is just so that we can read it a bit more easily and reason about it more effectively. PTK, so we can see that this is a chain shift. And then we have all stops becoming fricative. So we'll write this in an informal way. Good. Okay. That deals with C, I think. Totally. I don't think there's anything else that we have. Okay. The one thing that we haven't done for C is deal with these things that we've reconstructed as uvulars. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, how are we going to do this? So PTK, BDG all become fricatives. But not the uvulars. In fact, nothing that we've reconstructed as... Yeah, this is a bit tough. This is a bit tough. What are we going to do with these uvulars? So we've dealt with the uvulars in E here. Oh, I think I'm going to have to put in a break. Yeah, I'm going to put in a quick break. Okay. I just saw the time. So we'll leave this for a sec. Be right back. YouTube, thank you for joining us again. We're working hard. I don't know if you can see me sweat. This is something, you know. but we're going to get through it. We may have run into a slight issue with how to deal with these uvulars, but we'll get through it. I have every faith. So come back next time and see how we do. Okay. Okay. Q to K. So Sutton's got a good idea here. If we have a uvular push chain, we have Q and K going to K and X. Yeah. K going to K. So we just the problem is I don't know how this is going to interact with this chain shift we already have, which is really nice. It looks like it accounts for everything but these four. And this 17. So what we've reconstructed as voiced aspirates are not participating in the spirantization in C. Yeah, the ice cream elephant is back. Okay. Okay. Well, let's welcome YouTube back, and then we'll do the final segment. Ah. That's the herald. That is the trumpet sounding, saying that we are ready, YouTube, to continue our second Historical Linguistics Challenge. So let's get started. Ooh, okay. Okay. Let's focus elsewhere for a second, because this is a bit odd. This would be a lot easier if I had my own computer, I have to say. But let's not blame the tools. Can we get some coordinal correspondences? That might help us out. Let's do that. Let's stop reconstructing and let's lay down some more correspondences. See if we can get all of the corridors done. So in 2 we have, I'm just gonna drag this down because this applies to everything. We have, I'm gonna have to type some new things, so let me get this out. Okay. So we have D, we have, darn, they don't have this one in the nice little chart, so I'm gonna pop it in. But I know how to do this one. There we go. Da, ta. And then we have da, ta, the. Very similar correspondence set, no reflex. In 3. Then we have to go down to all the way. Actually, we don't have much of anything until we get to, unless I'm missing one, until we get to 41. And in 41 we get T aspirated, th, t, and then our special sibilant. And what else? We have the same, basically the same correspondence set in 42 and 43. Modulo some missing data in 42. Then we have 44, which gives us a different, slightly different correspondence set. These are going to be tough to type. And then we have roughly the same thing in 45. And then finally we have... Nope, that's about it. Okay. I think that's all of our correspondences for the coordinal stops. Then we could do the sibilants as well. Before we do, I'm just going to check back on the chat and see if there are any ideas brewing. What we've reconstructed as tenuous may in fact be voiced, and A and D preserve the distinction. Okay, let's take a look. So A and D. So we have 8 and 9. A and D sought and preserve the distinction between what? Between voiced and voiceless? Okay, I'm going to continue collecting. I'm going to get some sibilants. The C lenited historic voiced. So instead of starting out as voiceless and then voicing, we start out as voiced, and then just simply lenite. What does that buy us? Let's see if we have any sibilants to work with, because I think then we'll be finished with our initial correspondences. Okay, so we have... We have this one, 37. So, s, sh, s, h. Okay, that's a saw. I don't think I have much doubt about that. Maybe that it's arrogant of me to do that, but debucalization of S is a pretty common thing. So, and then the palatalized versions that we see in B are nothing unusual because we're before front vowels. We do have this slight hiccup of this retracted S. So maybe I'm being too hasty here, but no, wait, I think I can do this, right? So S and minus. Nope, that didn't do it. S and underscore. Look at that. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Okay, so what number am I doing? Colin, keep up with yourself. Seriously. 39 and 40. So they have S. And then we have nothing. And then, okay. 40. And then, is that all? Okay. I'll be humble. I won't reconstruct that yet. So the question is, do we see a similar pattern in the coronals? Sutton points out that we do not. So what pattern are we looking for here? So let's use some color to help us. So we seem to have a series that works like, oops, I want to get the backgrounds. 40C does have a value. Ah, good point. Thank you. All right, let's use some color and sort of work this out. So let's say we have, can you see that? Is that all right? Is there enough contrast there? Something like that. There we go. So we have this voiced, voiceless, voiced fricative, voiced, voiceless pattern. And we see that here as well. We see that, where else do we see that? This is what I reconstructed as just a plain voiceless K. We see that here as well, it looks like. So this is one series, it looks like. Then we see another pattern, the pattern with aspirate in B. So let's give that a different color. Let's give that a green. And so this is aspirate in B. So we've got to take all of the ones where the aspirate's in B. And we're going to just color them all green. And this is going to be of great help to us, no doubt. And then we have another set of correspondences where we have aspirate in E and voiced in many of the others. For 17, all of the others. Let's call that orange. And actually, in C, we have voiceless for most of the time. For some reason, we have voiced in 17. Not sure what to make of that yet, but that could become relevant. And so let's fill in the rest of this series. So orange. Okay. So it's true that we do not have this showing up in. Has the light left me a bit? Maybe I can. We don't have this kind of aspirate in. Actually, wait a second. We do have aspirates in E in 44 and 45, E and B. And this is the only case where we get that. Normally it's either or. That's a bit of a mess. Oh, surely this is the same correspondence set here. And surely this is the same correspondence set. Well, friends, what do we think? It looks like we have at least 3 series of stops in the proto-language. And it also looks like we have some other things going on as well. We have these fricatives all across the board. We'll count W as a fricative for the purposes of... that might be a bit too low contrast. Nope, did it again. So then we have this series, which looks like fricatives everywhere you look. Yeah. And then we have two series of sibilants, and let's put them as, I don't know. I never know what color things are going to show up as because, no, that's not right. That's even less right. There we go. Two series of sibilants. So this is what it looks like we're dealing with in terms of the obstruent system. I think we may probably, what we'll do, we'll probably leave it here for today with a fairly good reconstruction of the sonorant system, word initially, and major steps towards a reconstruction of the obstruent system, word initially. We at least know, I think, roughly how many series we're dealing with. The major questions are, what are the reconstructions of these series? Because I'm not entirely confident in what we have so far. And then what is the nature of this uvular-velar split? And does it extend to the fricatives? Are these indeed fricatives? I think they probably are, but I could be wrong. And then I suppose we have the question of these two sibilants, which seem to have different outcomes, which I think, as far as I know, are not conditioned by anything that looks... let's see. Yeah, we have it before oo, we have it before oo. We have the retracted S before oo, and then we have H before oo. So yeah, I think that those are two ancestral forms. So what we will do is we will take a break from this. There will be, I think I should probably I'll say goodbye to YouTube now, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do next. So YouTube, thank you again for joining us. I think we've made great progress. We got to play with some colors. I think we've got a decent start at reconstructing the initial consonant system, or the consonant system in initial position of this proto-language. Thank you so much to Team B, and thank you so much to the chat for joining us and helping me with their great suggestions. It is always a pleasure, truly. If you ask if I'm feeling confident, I should never feel confident when it comes to the work of this community, because the creativity is truly off the charts. But I think with a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of time spent, we'll get there. So YouTube, we'll see you next time, and that's that. And chat, my goodness, this is fun. This is a lot of fun. What we're gonna do, we are not going to have a stream, sadly, next week, because the me is going to be up in the mountains, and there will be no internet access. But we will keep you tided over with videos that we've been stockpiling. And so those of you who like to watch the videos instead of the streams, you like that additional polish that Lucy puts on them when we upload them, you will have more content to while away the hours with. And then we'll come back, and in 2 weeks we will tackle this again. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'll have a chance to work on it a bit in the interim. And if those of you who want to work on it as well are so inclined, we'll pass the spreadsheet around so you can make a copy and play with it yourselves and come up with some ideas. And then we'll reconvene in 2 weeks, and we will work on it together. Okay, everyone. I'm so excited. This has been a lot of fun. Because there's a lot more to do. You know, we just worked on the initial consonants, but there are consonants in other positions. There are vowel system. There are tones, at least in branch D. So, yeah, we got our work cut out for us, but I think we got a good chance. Sutton, you should prioritize your new board. Do not worry. We'll have plenty of opportunities to go over and talk about the outcome of Team A's challenge when you are free, when it's a more convenient time for you. So don't worry. Spend time with your family. It's enormous congratulations on the birth of your child. It's something truly special. So banish all thoughts of sound changes from your mind while you're spending time with your family. And I suppose with that, it's time for me to head off. Time has flown. But I thank you all again very much for joining me and for joining us. And chat, you're great. If you're not on the Discord, if you've wandered in and we're talking about this Discord and it's new to you, there will be a link for the Discord in the description. So come join us. We do fun things like have historical linguistics reconstruction challenges. And then until next time, I remain linguistically yours, Colin. This is where I would sign up if I were writing. But yeah, we'll see you on Discord. We'll see you in the chat. We'll see you in the comments section. Okay, until next time.